Here's some stuff you've all probably thought of before. Just 'cause it's old doesn't mean that it's gold. Just 'cause there's charisma doesn't mean that we're sold. Just 'cause it's obnoxious doesn't mean that it's bold. Just 'cause you're not called doesn't mean we haven't seen that you bluffed. Just 'cause you look big doesn't mean you're not puffed. Just 'cause you want peace doesn't mean that you're weak. Just 'cause you're tired doesn't mean that you'll cease. Just 'cause it's low fat doesn't mean that it's right. Just 'cause it's the future doesn't mean that it's bright. What's wrong with this moment? Nah, raise the bar, it's all right. Let's do away with rhyme just 'cause it sounds nice. Daddy long legs bars with no bites. You don't need to speak just 'cause you're holding a mic. Just 'cause you're independent doesn't mean you've got to go it alone. Strong silence doesn't mean you're condoned. Just 'cause you were told doesn't mean that it's true. And just 'cause there's a queue doesn't mean you should too. Not saying you should jump, no, but skip past cues. Savvy application of your time, it's a foundational resource of life. But we let it tick by like it ain't no thing. Like a tuning fork struck, forgot that it will stop its ring. That atoms will cease to reverberate, no longer animate to turn a page. Out goes the fashion that was once all a rage. A short story ends upon the earth's plates. But how was that voyage? Did you find a first mate? And is there an epilogue? Did you procreate? How long did you live? How did you take the weight? Did you go hard, relish the morning's ache? Did you have a confident gait or an anxious pace? How much did you find yourself do just for the sake? Hope you siphoned some sympathy to see you through, for quelling the flushed cheeks about the things you didn't mean to do, and consider the weak moments of people seemingly breezing through. Of course you did. Who am I to preach? Did you wrestle the beast or come up tufts? Did you get a fair trade? Did you get your cut? Were you prompt out the gate or was the barrier stuck? Did you come a bit before last and still feel proud as you were the one who had gained most ground? Did you buy into what it is to be a woman or man? Did you find out the reach of one whole lifespan? Did you find another's energy that you could conduct or insulate? Hang head, say, it's all fucked. Did you amplify the echoes inside your soul? Did you do enough horsing around as a young foal? From those days forth and forever after, still rolling in the hay when put out to pasture. Did you heed the early warnings, recognize the signs, combat the clatter, maintain a sound mind? Were you stuck in your human life waste, feeling disgraced? Or do you inspire others by keeping the faith? Misinformation being told your place, let the segregation be blurred away. Were you expecting the clear cuts in a world that can be rugged and rough? A wholehearted embrace but still feel like you're losing touch. And it may not have been love when breaking up it's a case of first to the punch. Just 'cause it's not new and improved doesn't mean it's defunct. Just 'cause it's not perfect doesn't mean it's not just good enough. We just want to be just as. Just 'cause it's free doesn't mean that it's cheap. Just 'cause it's a quote doesn't mean that it's deep. And just 'cause it's reported doesn't mean that it's news. Just 'cause you're many years in doesn't mean you lack youth. But just 'cause you've wrinkles doesn't mean that you're wise. Just 'cause there's a product doesn't mean you should buy. Just 'cause you lack proportion doesn't mean it changes its size. Just 'cause it all comes to an end doesn't mean you should cry. Just 'cause it hasn't been done doesn't mean you can't try. Just 'cause it hasn't been done doesn't mean you can't try, 'cause it's your life. Cheers.